The now defunct Steam Greenlight program was, overall, a moderate success. Over 16,000 games were released before the switch to Steam Direct in 2017, and some of them were good. I mean, some of them really weren't, but that was the joy, I guess. But every once in a while, something really, really good came along. The proverbial diamonds in the rough. And while today's game didn't get its full release under the Steam Greenlight banner, it does showcase what can be achieved when small developers are given a chance to shine. The Dreamcatcher is a walking simulator experience and is the first offering from Huanlin Studios. 3 years in the making, its release on the 21st of August 2020 was done with very little fanfare, and you could easily be forgiven for writing it off as another indie experience, but you absolutely shouldn't. You play as a recent college graduate who is struggling to come to terms with the question we all face at some point: what exactly does he want from life? You have a nice apartment, a partner, and a pet tortoise, which is legitimately awesome. Props to the developer for not defaulting to dog or cat. But you also begin to have very unusual dreams, which hint at something nagging at the back of your mind. Something is missing, but what it is isn't clear. Then, you are mysteriously sent the titular Dreamcatcher, and things start to get weird. It quickly becomes apparent that your actions in the waking world can be used to affect what happens in your dreams. And this is the core mechanic of this game. The interaction between the two worlds you inhabit and your character's ability to enter a lucid dreaming state. Each level, for want of a better word, takes you through one of these lucid dreams with the ultimate goal of finding gems to add to the Dreamcatcher, with the promise of having your greatest wish fulfilled. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. First of all, the soundscapes in this game are brilliant. Throughout your playthrough, the atmosphere and ambience is perfectly pitched and beautifully delivered, and some amazing choices have been made with the soundtrack, which allow the score to underpin and enhance the experience rather than taking it over. The graphics are very nice, with texture and detail that some AAA titles will be proud of. The landscapes, dreamscapes, you find yourself in are eerily beautiful, or just straight up gorgeous, and each environment you find yourself in is imaginative, inventive, and well implemented. The use of light and colour is very effective, check out those god rays, bruh, and you get the added bonus of having the rarest of first-person video game commodities, a fully rendered body, although you still don't appear in mirrors and reflections, which is a little disappointing. At the start of this review, I described the Dreamcatcher as a walking simulator experience, which quite probably turned off a few people. They're not real games, I hear the keyboards cry. It is worth noting that while this game, and yes it is a game, does not have any particular strict storyline, to simply call it a walking simulator is perhaps doing it a disservice, because this game is more than that. For a start, you do actually have a goal to collect the gems for the Dreamcatcher. While this admittedly is a bit thin as objectives go, it does give you something to aim for. And the game is very linear, free roaming is very much at a premium, pointing you quite firmly in whichever direction you need to go. But it does have 3 endings, and the choices which determine the specific ending you get on a playthrough were so well hidden and disguised that I genuinely can't even begin to guess where they were in the game. So it most definitely has replayability. Granted, these points may still not be enough for some to see past the fingerprints of games like Dear Esther and Gone Home, which are undoubtedly here for all to see. But what if I told you it was genuinely tense and unnerving? Well, it is. There are several points in this game that feel exactly like the bits of horror movies that scare me the most. The parts where you are expecting the jump, where you anticipate and prepare yourself, wrapping yourself around the nearest cushion. Don't judge me, I'm a wuss and proud. But nothing actually happens. There is no scare to break the tension, it just stays there, preying on your mind, making you hesitate every single time you turn a corner or need to look behind you. All jokes about my pitifully low fear threshold aside, it does genuinely create an atmosphere of tension and anxiety that I have to say I was not expecting, and the developers deserve full credit for that. As a side note, while you can play this with mouse and keyboard, I highly recommend you break out the Xbox controller, stick some headphones on, and turn out the lights, because there is some very nice use of the rumble feature, and coupled with the visuals and soundscape, this makes for a very well crafted experience. The game is let down by having quote-unquote puzzles that are simpler to solve than who the murderer is in an episode of Columbo. If you don't get that reference, turn off Fortnite and watch the first 30 minutes of any episode and then come back to me. And the choice to have a splash screen as levels loaded rather than a simple black screen, which in my opinion would have been more effective and less immersion breaking, and occasionally the soundscapes, though brilliant, do perhaps try a bit too hard or a bit too on the nose. The getting out of bed animation is one of the loudest awakenings known to man. But these are ultimately compensated for by the talent and skill shown in literally every other aspect of this game. I would greatly recommend the Dreamcatcher. It is well worth the price of £13.49, particularly if so-called experiences are your thing, but even if it's not normally in your wheelhouse, it is still a reasonable price for what you get. Of course, if you're still umming and ahhing, you could always wait for the next Steam sale and see if you can pick it up for a little less, but I suspect Huanling Games are going to have plenty of content up their sleeves. And as a big fan of indie games and developers, I would ask you do your bit and grab it at full price. Dare to dream. You might be surprised. I've been Chris for Invicta Magazine, and thank you for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, please do give this video a like and a share. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep up with all our latest content. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, plus we stream regularly on Twitch, and you can find all those links in the description below along with our website. See you next time. Goodbye for now.